Shalom, shalom, Yahawah. We'll set off first things first, giving all praise and glory to Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Qadash, which in the pedigree who becomes, created the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Double honors to the apostles, elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to you, sister, brothers, name is truth, and shalom to the brothers and sisters that's listening and studying, show themselves to prove shalom. Woo, hey, just watched a classic movie, Yahawah. Classic movie. Probably one of the best movies I've seen in the past 10 years. You know, they cloned Tyrone. It's on Netflix. It's a movie starring Jamie Foxx. You know, what's the dude's name? John Boyega and Tiana Paris. And spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the movie, go see it, because I'm about to deep dive on this Israelite review, because I love this movie, and it was so impactful. Now I see why Jamie Foxx is in the situation he's in. You know, we don't know if he dead, alive, or what's going on with him. But this is it's because of this movie that went out, which is directed by Joel Taylor, which is a Israelite, what looks like an Israelite by my age, man. He dropped a classic, so I look for him to be bothered, because I don't think Esau noticed how big this was gonna hit. At least I don't think he do, but it hit big, you know. And this is a movie, very spiritual movie. They give up a lot of stuff. Really, it exposes a lot of Esau. It exposes a lot of what Esau got going on. I guess they feel like we at the end, you know, forget it, I'm going to tell them, let it go, and hey, who gonna hear. You know, it's really the Lord doing all of this. He's giving Yahawah that wake-up call, because, you know, 2/3 going to watch this movie too. So, as I said, the whole floor of Yahawah, the whole content is going to rise to a certain level. Not only the whole Fulek are going to be at the level to get salvation, but I know that the 2/3, they're going to be at Esau's neck, because their conscience, they're raising up. They're raising up. And because of that, like, Esau's plans are not going to work the way he wants them to work. Like, stuff is falling apart. He ain't got that sway over Yahawah like he used to, because he's so exposed. You know, in this movie was so impactful, man. I had two dudes and a chick. You know, Tiana Paris played a chick named Yo-Yo. Jamie Foxx played a pimp named Slick Charles. And John Boyega played a gangster named Fontaine. You know, and they all had their archetypes that Esau wants us in. Fontaine was a gangster. Yo-Yo was a hoe. And Slick Rick was a pimp, which is known as a whoremonger. You know, they was going by their daily lives, being niggas, which is what Esau got us doing here in his American society. And when you're in that archetype, you only a threat to your own community. So Esau, that's where he wants you at. He wants you to be a gangster. He wants you to push his drugs. He wants the women of Yahawah to be whores and hoes. He wants that. He wants you to be a whoremonger, be a pimp, you know, mess your women up. That's what Esau wants. Now in this movie, something happened to where the people, his system started coming undone, because the Jakes in the movie seen the truth. And it was an event that they had happened that exposed and blew the top off Esau's whole enterprise. You know? And so I'm going to go get, I ain't even had this in the gun. Let's go get a preset. I know it's in here. I'm about to find it though. Bear with me, Yahawah, my first one, because I ain't even had this in the gun, but it came through the spirit as I'm talking about the movie, because the Most High made a declaration. There it go. Numbers 23 and 23. Right here. I wasn't even going to start with this. See how the spirit work, but I got to pull this, because this is so true. This precept I'm about to read. This is Numbers 23 and 23. Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob, neither is there any divination against Israel. According to this time, it shall be said of Jacob and of Israel, what have Yahawah wrought. So that precept right there is let you know that, see, Esau gets down through enchantments, sorceries, divinations. That's how Esau has his sway over the nations. He uses that. But the Lord just said right there, there's no enchantment against Jacob. So what does that mean? Like, Surely we see Jake out here being gangsters and degenerates and all of that. Here's where that precept hit and where it rings true. With the hopeful elect, the ones who have come back to Yahawashi in the house of David, Esau's plan falls flat. And we're like the characters in that movie after that event happened that opened their eyes to, what Esau's been doing and what their lives mean. Like, they found that their lives was all fabricated. Their whole reality was fabricated. Is what they found out in the movie. And what it took, Fontaine, he been this everyday gangster, life. Very, very symbolic. Oh, a very symbolic part of that movie, too. He would guards go to the local gas station, get a scratch off in his 40, and it'd be a little, little wine bibbler there, a wino that would spit some truth. And like John Boyega, hey, Fontaine, he'll pay his tithes by putting a little drink in his cup, like, yeah, frog. All right, old school. And then the old school would give him some of that, that's like the prophet. That was like Yahawashi, like he give dude little spurts to wake him up, but it wasn't clicking then, I remember the first part of the movie, like, it's in the water, young blood, it's in the water. He was like, I know. So he was trying to wake him up. The warning wasn't hitting yet, because he didn't have that big event, that big epiphany didn't come yet. So as you watch the movie, he gets into it with a other local gangster nigga, sitting on his block, he fighting him. So he beats one of his little, dope boys in the corner. The gangster gets to it. His name is Isaac. One of our forefathers, name. Isaac was the name of our forefather Jacob. I was like, man, that ain't no accident. The Most High made them put that in there. So I'm amped up just by seeing all the spiritual stuff. So in the movie, he gets into it with Isaac. And then, Isaac shoots him. He dies. Jamie Foxx, Slick Rick, Slick Charles, who's playing the pimp, he witnesses that. But dude shows up to the door, wanting his money from Slick like ain't nothing happened. Dude like, hey, man, you supposed to be dead right now. I seen you die. Like, what you talking about, man? I ain't dead. I was just asleep, So he was like, hey, man, go get Yo-Yo and she'll tell you. She'll tell you. And then that was something spiritual right there. I caught. And that part right there, Yahshua. Let's go get Revelation. Because this was the whole wake-up process. Revelation 11:3. And this is Revelation 11:3. And it says, I will give power unto my 2 witnesses. And they shall prophesy 1,203 square days, clothed in sackcloth. So that's your 2 witnesses right there. Northern tribe, southern tribe, we both prophesying against Esau. And in that movie, you seen that. Because Fontaine didn't want to believe Jamie Foxx's character Slick when he told us. He said, go ask Yo-Yo, she'll tell you. So when Yo-Yo told Fontaine that, that really happened, then they start going down that rabbit hole. And Slick Rick, he was the first one to see it. His eyes opened up. And that's all you need, them spiritual eyes to open up. And hey, Esau's stuff start coming down, man. It'll start coming down. Because what he say, I witnessed you get shot. He said, I witnessed that. He didn't want to believe Slick. Slick went and got Yo-Yo. She said she witnessed it too and seen the, the car rolling on out. When they start, seeing people get snatched up, all kind of stuff. Esau, hey, he had a foothold in their hood, man. He was running it. They was watching them on the cameras, their whole conversation. They had their whole lives mapped out. Esau doing that now. That's real life right there. That's really what Esau's doing. Like through our phone devices, all these flock cameras and cameras, Esau watching everything. And long as Jake is like being a degenerate, being a nigga, a whore and all of that, Esau cool with that. Destroy each other, destroy your community, to stay in your community. And I'm going to watch and make sure, you do that. So getting back to my point, when Slick started seeing like, hey, man, something ain't right. I seen you die and now you here. His eyes start opening up. And like you seen that whole thing throughout the whole movie. Slick would always see something, be like, oh, man, y'all quit doing that. He was kind of the eyes. He started the whole dynamic of them finding out, what Esau is doing. So we at that part right there where Slick seen dude wake up, He's supposed to be dead, but he back doing his normal routine. So then they like, man, something ain't right, you know? So then they see some people get snatched up, things like that. And then they stumble onto I think they thought it was a trap house or something, so they find one of Esau's laboratories, which he has. That's a known thing he has there. They got deep underground military bases. They call them DUMBs. Esau got that going on right up under us. It was a laboratory up under their hood. They found the door to it, went down there. You know, they're all in Esau shit. He got all the chemicals and the plants. And, man, they seeing the Esau down there torching and testing niggas to see how he can deal with Yahawah, which brings me to another scripture. That's how, you know, we say Esau is just like Pharaoh. You know, because he does the same things that the Egyptians did, like Pharaoh. So when you go to Exodus 1 and 8, so at this point, they done found that Esau got an underground lab, Yahawah, and they're experimenting on Yahawah right underground. You know, they got clones. They're conditioning them to be niggas. You know, they doing all of that. You know, and they seeing that. So that's the wake. And then dude would trip up, would really, you know, set it off. Fontaine seen a clone of him, and it just blew his mind right there. It just woke him all the way up, you know? It woke him all the way up, man. To a certain extent, should I say, at that point. You know, he started to see that, you know, life is not what he thought it was. Like, it's some real crazy stuff going on. I remember, see, I like that how the characters represented, man. Oh, and I'll be doing, this is a part 1. I'll be doing a part 2 in case I forget anything, Yahawah, because it's a lot of unpacking this movie. So I will be doing a part 2. This is part 1. So don't trip you feel like I missed something. I'm going to watch this and then I'm going to, you know, do a part 2. Because I think I need 2 parts of this. It was so good. So when they went underground in the lab, they found that the Esau was catering, you know, and was dealing with them wisely. With the same thing in this precept I got pulled up. He's in his mode the same way Pharaoh was in that mode. We got to deal wisely with these people. So let me quit getting ahead of myself, read the scriptures. So this is Exodus 1 and 8. Now there arose a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. You know, because remember, Joseph was in Egypt, and, you know, Egypt reverenced Joseph. But say, like the scripture just said, a new Pharaoh came in over Egypt, and he ain't know Joseph. He don't care about all them Israelites and all of that. In verse 9, and he said unto his people, behold, the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. So the Hamites, the Africans are looking like, oh man, these Israelites are something amazing, man, which we are. You can see why everybody want to deal with us wisely, because we produce a lot, real easy. We're very talented, very skilled, because we're the people of the Lord. We're the salt of the earth. We're Israel. We're the people supposed to rule the whole planet. So other nations that see that, like our skill set, you know, the blessings that we get as a nation, you know, our birthright, and they get jealous. So that's why Pharaoh said that. Here we go to kicker in verse 10. It said, come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply and come to pass that when they falleth out of any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. So they got scared. They got scared of Jake, man, because we are more, we mighty, we very plentiful. When you add up all the tribes together, we the #1 people on the face of the planet. If you add up all 12 tribes, we the #1 people on the face of the planet. And we talented nation builders. So you see why other nations are scared of us. And the #1 people that's scared of us right now is Esau, Edom, aka the white man. He's terrified. So he said Esau's doing the same thing in this Exodus 1 to 10. He's dealing wisely with us. And how is he dealing wisely with us? Hey, putting enchantments on us. You know, transgressing by that wine. Here you be a gangster. Here you be a hoe. Here you be a pimp. Don't be nothing else. Sell my drugs. Sell drugs to your people in your community. Y'all hoes, you know, tear down your own households. Be foolish, you know, promiscuous women. You know, be some straight harlots in the street. You know, harlots ain't gonna raise no wholesome household. So tear down the house, ruin your community, and just have Jake and straight, you know, that valley of dry bones, man. Be straight in a dead state. Straight degenerate plant. Long as you stay in that condition, Esau cool. And he has to deal wisely with us to do that. Like, so he got to put stuff in the food. You know, you see that in the movie. They was putting stuff in the chicken to make Jake act a certain way. They know we like chicken. They was putting stuff in the perms. So the women will act crazy and be all messed up. And that's a real thing, man. I look at all the women in my family got health problems, and all of them got perms when they was little all the way up. I'm looking like, if you keep put chemicals in your head, there's going to be adverse effects. That's why your health is bad. The majority of the women in my family got bad health when they hit 30 or 40. And I truly believe it's them damn perms. And then, like, and all them weaves and stuff. Everything Jake does is not beneficial to us. We do what Esau tailored us to do. We don't even think about it. Like, our people still eat chitlins like a delicacy. Then wonder why when they get 34, they got high blood pressure, diabetes, and all of that. Like, the Lord said, don't eat that, it's unclean. And see, man, they show the church. Man, they show everything in that movie, Yahawah. You have to, that is a must watch. I've been telling everybody around me, you gotta watch They Clone Tyrone. You gotta see that. Because, I mean, Esau laid it out there, man. It was in the perm. Checking the music was controlling Jake in the movie. Man, that mother was remote controlling Jake. Like Esau like a DJ. When they came out the laboratory at one point, they came out in a strip club. Esau's on the DJ, so he working the music. And he had Jake straight under mind control by using the music. And that's true. When Jake is in a brute beast mode, which most of the 2/3 are, and they hearing this rap music, you know, it used to be when I was coming up, you know, kill him, bang, bang, nigga. When you see that nigga, bang that nigga. You know, it was that type of music. Then it morphed into some old sissy Momo stuff. That's why Jake now in skinny jeans and dyeing their hair colors and putting on dresses and painting their fingernails. Man, Esau controlling Jake through the music. And Jake, if they don't have a hopeful spirit in them, because that's what it takes to break that enchantment, they're going to be controlled. They're going to roll with it. They roll with the flow. And it showed in the laboratory, man, they'll play one song, Jake and her fight and bang with each other. I like that. They said Lil Jon music. That Lil Jon come on, it made gangsters just kill each other, man. I remember that era. If any, you know, all my 30-year-olds and up, you know, remember Lil Jon and his little run, man, Jake was getting blasted during that run, man. That's Lil Jon's music was all about mess some nigga up and shoot some nigga. And I remember I used to watch, because I got a lot of older dudes in my family, and when that Lil Jon used to come on, man, and they be drunk, it was always a fight at the house party every single time. And it showed that in that movie. They played the song Jake fighting, blop, 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 blop. Man, they switched the song to like a Hug Me or some song like that. Jake started hugging. I was like, that's that Drake coming on. The Drake and Lil Wayne came on. It went from gangster to some, you know, they knew this old new age, some Lil Nas X turned on. They started hugging. I said, they doing that now with the music. You know, that's what I said. Jake needs to see that to wake up, man. Wake up, Jacob. So they control Jake with the music, food. You know, they showed that. They was putting in the other food too, breakfast food. When they was ransacking the lab, and they do that to this day. That's real. Our food is GMO. We really just don't know how them chemicals is reacting to our bodies when we eat our food. I know we're not getting our proper nutrients. You know, that might just make Jake just wild out. You know, that's why we ain't, bodies breaking down. We ain't where we should be, man. This devil dealing wisely with us. Put it in the food. Put it in the air, put it in the water, put it in the music, their entertainment. You know, so the Jake with his eyelids open up watching some little BS stuff. Yeah, that's Jake watching Love and Hip Hop and Housewives and Basketball Wives. That's why the Eve is totally crazy out of mind. Television programming. Esau do that in real life. He showed it in the movie, you know, they're trying to make light of it, you know. Jake showed it in the movie, trying to wake Jake up and show you, man, that's what Esau doing. Salaki got me a drink. So Esau dealing wisely, man. And to deal wisely, you got to put Jake in a suspension, man, in a system, man. Like Fontaine and Yo-Yo was talking. She was like, I'm in the same trap as you. You know, you in the hood, in the ghetto. Really, it's a mindset that trap you, man. A mindset. That's why the word is so vital and important, because it renews your mind. And it gets your mind locked in on Yahawashi. And I notice when you do that, it kills what Esau programmed for us. Like, all the programming is wear off. It's kind of like the characters we was watching in the movie, man. Eyes start opening up. They start seeing the truth. Like, they wasn't rolling with their programming no more. They wasn't on the block. They was all in Esau's laboratory trying to figure out how they going to blow the top off of it, you know? How they going to expose this devil. It was all up over that. So I'm going to get this right here. Because before, they was doing what? Man, they was in Esau's system, being what he want them to be. A slave. Them clones are slaves, man. They were so much of slaves and so programmed. At one point, Esau could holler out a trigger word. I think it was like Black Olympian. You know? Is what he hollered out. Black Olympian. And it would freeze them. And then he can give them orders. It was showing they was that program. You know? That program. And when I look at the 2/3, man, the ones on that super, super low level, they're like that. They're like that. They are like that. So I'm going to go get this Deuteronomy 28 and 48. And it says, therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. He shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. You know, so they were serving their enemies, man, didn't even know it. They thinking they was doing their everyday life, their everyday grind. Because I remember he told it to the Isaac dude, like, man, we making it bad on them. We fucking the hood up. Like, that's how Esau wants them to do. And then once you're in his system, you got to buy everything from him. Clothes come from him. The convenience stores, all the material come from him. You got to go to your enemy for everything you need. Like, they ain't even, the condition is so cold now that Jake don't even know who the enemy is. Majority of them don't. The 2/3. They done lost that battle. Esau done, you know, knocked them in the hole so bad, they fight against other Jakes. They look at Jakes as their enemy. The curses done took effect. They fight other Jakes. They done forgot all about Esau. Now they love Esau. You know? So that's that whole Glen, that neighborhood that they was in. That wasn't nothing but a trap, man, where they had to serve their enemies. And see, the yoke of iron, see, back in you know, in the day, I want to say like way back, our ancestors really had a yoke of iron on them. Why? Because they was fresh. They knew who they was. So he had to put them in physical bondage. So Esau done got slick. He done got wise. Now in 2023, it's not a physical, you know, a physical yoke, you know, that's on your neck. Now it's on your mind. You know, Esau done got so sophisticated to where, man, it's showing that movie, man. He got him under control. He ain't got to put a yoke of iron on Jake's neck and all of that. He can just do certain little things, and Jake gon' move like a little puppet on the string, man, like a clone. You know, no thought, like a dead body that Esau could just remote control. And they remote control these niggas, man. I be looking at the 2/3 like, woo. That's why I understand that Jeremiah 4:22. My children are sadish. And then, like, we try to wake them up and tell them that, but Esau got their conspiracy theory stuff out, which that's getting blew up. I said a lot of stuff that it showed in the movies. The movie went on, the more Esau stuff started getting blew up because of the hopeful elect. You know, that's like the problem. They was exposing Esau, man. Exposing them. And that's when it was so bad that the whole hood riled up on Esau, like a jailbreak. You know? That's how bad it got. And that's where we at now. The wake up is so big, man. I said, let me go get Jeremiah. Let me get Jeremiah 49:10. But I've made Esau bare. I've uncovered his secret places. They found his secret places in the movie. He had underground laboratories. They got down there, seen it, and exposed this devil. And he should not be able to hide himself. It got to the point where Esau couldn't hide himself. And his seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. You peep that? You'll see that in that movie you watch it. Esau gets exposed. You know, he fought hard to keep the exposure not going out. I remember he kidnapped, because at first, you know, the two didn't want to see it, man. Slick went his bay. Fonte, they tried to fight it. They tried to go back into the world. Yo, you know, she had that spirit about her, man. She wanted to expose Bo the top off, but the men didn't. So she tried to expose Esau on her own. Little loudmouth Eve called her. I blew a whole cover. Movie funny, too. Watch the movie. The movie funny. It's a lot of nigga stuff, and that's going to crack you up out of little nigga moments. And niggas just being dumb. Hey, little chick just blew a whole cover. So since her cover got blown, Esau snatched up the Eve, snatched her up, and they had to go get her back out the, you know, the secret place, out the Esau's little laboratory. You know, they go get Yo-Yo, Fontaine, and Slick, and they was going through it. 'Cause Fontaine he wanted to go back into the world. You know, he tried to go back into, you know, being what he was. And like even the prophet was like, you know, hey, something ain't looking right with you, you know. Oh, and we speaking of that, I liked it that old man. The old man, the prophet, you know, I liked it that. I liked it him. You know, because he brought a precept to my mind when I seen it, because when you think about it, let me see if I got that. They called Yahawashi a wine bibbler because of the stuff he said was so outlandish to them they couldn't believe it. Because Yahawashi was talking future tense. At that time, Jake couldn't understand that when they was up there with the Romans. He talking about stuff in this day and age. See if I got that. Thought I had it. Let me see, I can get it, Yasharala. Bear with me, because something else hit my spirit. I said, I'm going straight through the spirit on this one. Maybe I gotta get it like that. There it go. There it go. That's what I was looking for. Because check this out, Yasharala. He was like one of the most impactful characters in the movie, because when Fontaine got lost, because he had found the lab, and then Esau covered his tracks up and made another lab, and he couldn't find it. So he went to the, you know, the wino, which was representing the prophets, you know, representing Yahawashi. You know, he was like, man, he said something big. When he said it in the movie, I was like, woo, I see you, Yahawashi. The wine bidder said, hey, young blood, when you want to get out of Babylon, where do you go? He even said Babylon. And then check out where he went. He went to Mount Zion Church, Yasharala. He went to Mount Zion Church, you know. So he goes to the church. Fontaine go to the church. They in the church with their plans of Christianity. Got Jake all in the, you know, all in the spin. They done put the stuff to control them in the communion. So they drinking the juice. They got the little, you know, the music going. Pastor says little stuff. OTD Jake stuff. And Jake just lost, you know. And he had said something to Fontaine too. He said, hey, the big man will show you the way. And there's a picture of Yahawashi, you know, they had him covered up looking like, you know, Jesus Christ or whatnot. You know, they couldn't be all the way real with it. But they represented Yahawashi, and he's pointing. And when he's pointing, you know, Fontaine see what he pointing to, just like Yahawashi leading us to the truth. He pointed to the laboratory to show Fontaine where the laboratory was at so he can find it. And I was like, whoa, that was big right there. That was very, very spiritual. I wonder if any, you know, come on, wake up, wake up. Any hopeful leg that ain't woke up yet, wake up now, man. Hey, they ain't putting this in there for no reason. And so they had a laboratory under Mount Zion Church. And that's when they really blew the lid off on that one. They really got a lot of evidence and really knew what was going on at this time. You know, Slick did. Because he the one that first started seeing things from the gate. You know, and let me read the precept. Because I done got here and ain't even read the precept that I wanted to get. Oh, here we go. Luke 7:34. The Son of Man has come eating and drinking, and ye say, behold, a gluttonous man and a wine bibber, a friend of publicans and sinners. So they looked at Yahawashi back, and that's how you can tell they didn't appreciate our Messiah back then. You know, the 2/3 didn't appreciate him. They don't appreciate him now. They don't appreciate us. They didn't appreciate him right there. You can hear they called him a gluttonous man because he was eating. And they called him a wine bibbler because he used to drink wine a lot. But if they just open up their spiritual frequency, man, Yahawashi was giving them the game. Like he was giving them the truth. You know, but they counted, they was like, oh, and they looked at his association, because you know he'll go out and help try to convert sinners and all. They like, oh, he with sinners and publicans. Like, you know, he with them. He ain't no good. You know, they was already slander. That was slander right there. And this precept we just had right here. You know, that's what they were saying. And they probably said that to the Jake, you watching that movie, the old man, you know, everybody looked at him like some of this dumb old wino. But when you watch the movie, he was giving the game up the whole time. He was part of the awakening process. They wouldn't have found Esau's laboratory if it wasn't for him talking to, you know, old school, which represented the prophet. Yahawashi, that's how he found the truth. That's us right now. If it wasn't for Yahawashi doing what he did, we all be still in, you know, chasing that, you know, Babylonian standard of living. we all be lost. We be lost without Yahawashi. You know, so Yahawashi kept the book. He made Esau keep the book so we can get in the book, read it, and then get right back on track. And then make all of the programming Esau did is now about to be washed away. Because what now? I know who I am. I got my idea. I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm not the things that you told me I am. You lied. The Lord told me who I am, what I'm supposed to do. So now I'm in my lot. You know, Esau don't like that. Because as we keep hollering on Yahawashi, you know, that's going to ruin his kingdom, which you seen that laboratory went to mess in the movie. You know, they had a good elaborate plan. Like Jake used wisdom in that movie. You see the wisdom of Jake in that movie a lot. You see Jake use a lot of wisdom, which is what helped us get the birthright in the first place. You know, our forefather Jacob was wise, man. Yahawashi, the wisest of them all. So you'll see that in that movie. You'll see that. I love old dude's part, man. The little old school, I think his name was Frog, you know. They would call him a wine bibbler. Man, don't listen to that old drunk. You know, he ain't talking about nothing. You know, but he over there talking about, he giving the game up, which they ain't showing the movie, but he probably seen some things. And he trying to tell them, but everybody look at him, you old bummed out drunk. But hey, Fontaine, listen. And then think about it too, Yahshua. Fontaine would get his drink and scratch off, and what would he do? He'll pour a little cup, an old school, you know, in his cup. And that's why he give him a little word for the day, man. That's like he was paying tithes. He was paying tithes when he poured something in his drink. And what did he get in return? It's the same thing right here. Same dynamic, man. Same dynamic. Brothers and sisters, pay their tithes, man. When you give a reward to a prophet, you get a prophet's reward. And it showed for him in that movie, man. It's gonna show for us as well. You know? That's why we taught. And when I seen that, I was like, man, this is so spiritual. Look at the whole dynamic of this. I'm like, I want to do young dude just know what he just did. Like, do he even know? But regardless of that, the Lord used him and allowed Esau to get up off of him to make a movie like this. The movie was great. I mean, the emotion in it. Like, I thought John Boyega, I didn't like dude in Star Wars. I didn't like him in Pacific Rim. I thought dude was just, like not a good actor, just trash. But really what I'm seeing now is that he couldn't operate in Esau's operation. As soon as he got a Jake director and got around Jamie Foxx, I think Jamie Foxx rubbed off on him. Man, dude played that role, so magnificently. He played the mess out that role, man. Like, you look at the movies I just named, and you look at that movie, you like, is that even the same dude? He played a Jake real well, man. Against the Jake, and then like the level of emotion he put in the movie. Because one of my favorite parts in the movie was when he bust through the door. When he found out his mother wasn't under the recording, when he found out Esau was messing with him. Because he tried to go back into the world. He tried to go back, but he, you know, it was gnawing at him. And he's like, I got to see you, Mom. I got to see you. So he needed that closure, you know. He needed some comfort. So he bust open the door, and it was just a little recording. You know, because his mama didn't never, like, every time he go past the door, his mama, he'll hear the recording talk through the door. He never seen his mother because he had been a clone. So they had his whole life set up where his mother always say, you know, recordings through the door, but he'd never see her. So when he got to the truth, to the bottom, he wanted to see her, bust open the room and see that recording. Then it's like he started seeing the smoke and mirrors Esau was playing with. You know, the emotions ran through him. You know, it's one of my favorite parts in the movie, man. That was so impactful right there. That was like, you can tell he played that good. The hurt, the deceit when he found out, like, he thought his mama was on the other side of that door. He found out he ain't got no mama. Like, you a clone, dude. Your whole life is fabricated, man. And so they sent him, we like, man, I got to take them out for this, man. Like, yeah, we got to do something about this. And that, it was very, just the deceit that Esau would go through to, which they do that, man. It was also symbolic, too, because a lot of youngins don't feel close to their parents, man. A lot of parents ain't in their life. That's why a lot of these children's out here just buck wild going crazy. And Esau like, oh, yeah, I got something for you to do. Here's this programming. Go do this. You know, because the parents are not there. They too busy off in the world. So that was very symbolic to me. You know, very symbolic. Very spiritual. And so in the movie, as you watch, I'm going to go get this one right here too. Let's go to Matthew 13:16. This is Matthew 13:16, and it reads, "But blessed are your eyes for they see, and your ears for they hear." You hear that? Blessed are your eyes for they see. And that's talking about spiritually we see it. Because a lot of us seen this before it even started coming, man. Before it started becoming the reality it is now. Because we're in Revelation now. Now you got to be willfully ignorant to try to not, deny the stuff we've been prophesying about. Because the MOTB coming in, they already got this heat wave going through. Weather messed up, climate lockdowns is on the way. They talking about it right now. Like, you got to be crazy not to see what Esau's doing right now. So our eyes, are blessed, man. And it showed who really, personified that in the movie to me was Jamie Foxx's character Slick. Because he always kept seeing stuff. I remember they was in the chicken spot to get something to eat. They eating the chicken. And they eating the chicken, man. He was like, "Hey, man, I never seen you smile, Fontaine." He noticed the chicken was making him laugh and be merry. And he was just peeping. He was just looking around. He was seeing. And he smacked the chicken down and said, "Man, they putting it in the chicken, y'all. Don't eat the chicken." Like Jamie Foxx's character throughout that whole movie kept seeing stuff and calling it out. His eyes was blessed, man. Because his eyes was blessed, he's opened it up for Yo-Yo and Fontaine to see. And then they was able to see. And that's how it is in this truth. The hopeful elect, talk to other hopeful elect, they might still be asleep at the time. But once that word hits a hopeful elect, hey, they wake up. They got blessed eyes. They already been seeing. They just need to get the knowledge, to lock everything in place. Like, oh, yeah, oh, look, oh, okay, oh, yeah, I see the genie. Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then now they up. Now they in the house of David. Esau don't like that. That's the scariest thing to Esau. That's like us getting off the plantation. Because that's exactly what that signifies to Esau. He don't need that. Because he needs to profit and make money off of Jake. Plus, Jake needs to stay on the plantation for him to even have a system. He don't even want Jake to buck up. When you watching that movie, Jake bucked up, man. Jake unified the whole hood. He got a plan with his enemy, which turned to his friend, which was Jake, reconciling, curses being over. He got with Isaac, and they got an elaborate plan going. They unified the whole hood. That's Esau's most scariest thing for him to see is Yahshua to come together. Oh, no. Esau gonna pee in his pants. And they ransacked the lab, going crazy. Jake running through it like a madman. And blew up his whole operation, man. They started freeing the other clones. And once the cat out the bag, you start getting exposed, hey, you there's nothing you can do. Oh, and one big point I didn't want to forget, because I'm probably shut down a little bit. I'm gonna probably do another part too. One of the big reveals in the movie was that Esau's greatest asset is the 2/3. Fontaine found out like the original of him was the one who set it up, but that's Esau used him. Then he had a clone Jake bodyguard. He used some wisdom to outsmart him and get rid of old dude. He was like, "Man, I made a deal with the devil." Now we know what that means. That means he's made a agreement, a covenant with Esau. He told Fontaine that. He was like, call it a marriage of convenience. The powers that be. And then as they say, we got all these in all the major cities. Like, Jake act the fool in all major cities. Esau control all of Babylon the Great. And it was letting it be known that Esau's greatest asset that he stays in power with at this time, other than the sword, which I've been knowing it for a minute, and it showed in that movie, is the 2/3. The 2/3 protects Esau's power structure. The 2/3 helps Esau stay in power. That's one of our biggest enemies that got to be moved out the way, Yahshua, is a Jake that's against our power, Yahawashi. Because they help Esau. They love Esau. And they hate us. And you see that in that movie. When Fontaine found out, Jake done been running all this. What he's having, the lead geneticist? He been running the whole thing, man, for Esau. It kind of messes his head up, but then he used wisdom to knock dude off. They got exposed. So I think Esau gonna fall down from there on out. We watched the movie, Esau got exposed, man. All the truth went out, which I'm probably end off with that. And I'm gonna do a part 2 too, because I'm gonna listen on this and try to hit some other points that, you know, was in the movie as well, because there's so much stuff you can bring out in that movie. Shit, if I try to do everything how I thought right now, y'all, I'll be here for 2 and 3 hours. You know, so I'm gonna come with this right here, because this is what's about to happen. This is what happened in the movie towards the end. You know, so this is 2nd Esdras 6:28. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome. And the truth would have been so long without fruit shall be declared. And that's what happened when they start unleashing all them clones at the laboratory. You know, they start unleashing all them clones at the laboratory. And they start coming up, especially at the end, when they all look, and he looked like old dude that was doing, man, kind of like, it had that, Boys in the Hood style. They had a new dude. Tyrone didn't come in the movie to the end. So Tyrone comes in the movie. He looking like Ice Cube and Boys in the Hood. He doing the same routine as Fontaine. He sitting down with the homies, and they see his clone where Fontaine, you know, the ones who blew the top off, and they look at him like, hey, they cloned you, Tyrone. And man, it was just that was a nice full circle right there, man. So that showed Esau, hey, the truth start coming out. So it's like, damn, Esau, your whole stuff about to unravel. And that's what's happening to him in real life right now. Like the prophets starting to pass some elders on down. Like my brothers teach the truth. Like Esau's been exposed. Like he's been exposed by the prophets, Yahawashi, everything, the whole top getting blew off is playing. You know, everybody see the MOTB coming. You know, the majority, if you add all the, you know, us plus the heathens, the 2/3 is still, you know, they still way behind slow bellies, but the heathens see the MOTB. The hopefully elect see the MOTB, you know, because Esau's so exposed. So he got to push it in like in broad daylight. Like Esau ain't even gonna have no cover to push out his most diabolical plan. So he's gonna bank on, you know, your strength of suffering. You know, how much can you endure? That's what Esau banking on. He not banking on, oh, you ain't gonna know what it is, cause he done missed it. He done been exposed so bad. I feel like when the MOTB roll out, everybody gonna know what it is. But it's gonna come down to, are you gonna take it or not? You know, that's gonna come down to. Cause he the top is blew off. You see that in the movie, man. And then like the end on the closing note, Esau got that type of technology. I ain't saying Jamie Foxx is a clone, you know, they run in that room and all that, but Esau can clone a person if he wants to. They cloned the whole sheep back in 97. You think Esau stopped? Shit, we talking about the mad scientists here, man. Esau already got super soldiers. He not only can he clone somebody, he got technology called CRISPR. He can clone and add in other features to make the clone even better. You know? That's how he's going to create his super soldiers and all the little mutants and all of that. Esau been splicing DNA and genetics. That's why he think he God. Because he's creating all kinds of abominations in these laboratories. And it's got his head all blown up. You know, we about to deal with that in a minute. See, hopefully, that ain't going to blow our mind. The 2/3 Sid might give up the ghost. You know, when they find this comes into a reality, find out that Esau been cloning. He already letting everybody know you eating lab-grown chicken meat and cow meat. So he part in a minute, he part of this. Hey, he already trying to talk about some aliens, which them ain't no aliens, some little stuff he done made up. There's going to be that alien deception, you know. And at the point, he probably going to come out, yeah, we been cloning people. And, but the people might wig out, and then they going to disaccept it like, shit, I hope I can get my money up so I can get cloned. You know, it's a movie called The Island. Go watch that. Same scenario. It's a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger called The Sixth Day. Same scenario. They been cloning people. This ain't nothing new. This is Esau telling it because it's coming out too much. So he gonna tell it before it come out. That way it softens the blow. I was talking, one of the ox put a comment on board one of my lessons, and he said something real profound. Esau let stuff out the bag so that when he gets exposed for it, it won't be, you know, such a big shocker. He'll make it seem like he been doing that. It's for the benefit of the people. Like, that's how he gonna do it, Yahawah. He gonna make it seem like, hey, man, you got so much money, if you die, I can clone you. So you can always be here. And if Jay got enough money, go, oh, that's a good idea. Cloning is good. That's a good process. When can I sign up to get me a clone? That's how they gonna do it. So like, give me some drinks. So don't be surprised if Esau go ahead and just tell it. in a minute that he been cloning. Don't be surprised at that, Yahawah. You know, they could do that, and they made this movie to soften the blow. So everybody can be like, oh, just like they clone Tyrone. Oh, it is clones. Yeah, I watched that. What they call that? Predictive programming. I think they call it that. When they make something on a show or a movie and then do it in real life, that's Esau's way of softening the blow. So when he get exposed, he can run a whole nother agenda and capitalize off of it. You know, because Jake the 2/3 are so slow they ain't gonna wake up. They just looking for which way to spin next. Esau like turn that way. Go there, say basically man, they clones. Man, if you in that mindset of a 2/3, you a clone. Cause you a clone in the mindset. Your mind is totally fabricated and made up from your enemy to be a nigga. When I look at that movie, they were cloning niggas and creating niggas so that he can stay in power. That's what Esau does in real life. Not just a movie, baby. Stranger, what they call it, non-fiction. Real life, he does that. And they showed in the movie the whole process. From the food, music, television, programming. If you locked in that archetype of being a whole ratchet, whole gangster nigga, pimp nigga, everything that Esau promotes to say that's successful and that's good, then you're a clone. And Yahawashi ain't dealing with those type. Those are degenerates. Them ain't my people. My people know my name. My people don't even look like them people. We look different than them. You know? Our women don't dress like ratchets. You know, we ain't out here in skinny jeans and sagging in our skinny jeans. We don't dress up the world, man. We ain't on the latest trend. So therefore, we not following the program. And Esau see that, and he's like, up the whole fillet, they are a problem. What are we gonna do about this group, Bill? And they think tanks trying to figure out how to, you know, how to do something with us, because we don't go for the enchantment, which pulls me full circle. The first precept we brought out. There's no enchantment against Jacob. So I'm looking at Esau like, ain't nothing you got gonna work. You know, nonetheless, you're gonna do what you do, because you got to. That's your role in the movie. In Yahawashi's movie, Esau got to play his role. You know, he's gonna do what he's gonna do. And so we've got to, you know, stay in the house of David. And Lord willing, part of the hopeful elect, we get that salvation. You know, steer clear from the 2/3, man. They gonna watch that movie, how they control the 2/3, man. Esau does that. So I'm gonna probably leave it right there for now. I'm gonna listen to this. I'm gonna do a part 2 because there's other stuff I want to talk about. You know, but it's already getting late. So I'm gonna do a part 2, Yahawah. Like if you want me to elaborate on something, you know, put it in the comment board. You know, let me know what you thought, Yahawah. You know, put in the comment board. Let me know what you thought of the movie, who watched it. You know, let me know what you think. And then I'm gonna peep that, and then I'm gonna do a part 2 because I'm gonna do a deep dive on it again, and pull out some more spiritual stuff. So with that being said, I hope this is edifying. I want to say, call me Yahawah, detailed by Bob. Shalom.